Hi friends, very good morning all of you. So a new day, we are starting with a new chapter. A very important topic, both from doing business from real life perspective, but also from academic point of view or exam point of view. You call for CA intermediate students and also for CA final students. One of the most important concepts is marginal costing. You might have seen this marginal costing in economics itself, maybe in your BCom first year or plus one, plus two, or even in CA foundation, wherever you have studied economics, you might have come across this word marginal costing. So this marginal costing is basically a concept which is derived, which we have taken or which we have borrowed from economics. Basically, it is a concept in economics. Marginal cost basically means additional cost. Marginal cost means additional cost. Whatever the topic we are going to study today, the principles and the essence of this will be extremely used in CA final as well. Many of the students, they are doing CA CWA simultaneously. As a student, I did CA CWA simultaneously, and I know so many students are doing CA CWA even now simultaneously. For them, this is further more important because in CWA, the weightage of marginal costing is much more. So whether you are a BCom student or whether you are a CA student or CMS student, you cannot escape from this marginal costing. Having said that, as I tell in every topic, this is also not a complex topic, important, significant topic, but very simple and easy topic. Very simple and easy topic. We really don't need to get panic with this. If a question comes in the examination for 6 marks or 8 marks from marginal costing, close your eyes, take my word that 6 marks, 8 marks are already in your pocket. Already. Pawan sir, we have not even put the heading marginal costing also. You are saying in the exam, if question comes that 6 marks, 8 marks is already in the pocket. Are you sure? I am 1000% sure. So at the end of the topic, you yourself will say that this is such an easy topic and you can get 6 out of 6 or 8 out of 8 if this question comes in the exam. So let us start with some basics. I'll give you the definition and meaning of something, then I'll give you some example, and outside the syllabus I'll give you some kind of case studies. I'll give you a practical scenario and a situation, a business situation I'll give you. You think and give your decision, because marginal costing is basically a technique for decision making. Cost and management accountancy, in the introduction itself you might have seen cost and management accountancy. The purpose of cost accounting is to maintain books of account, to enable the management to control the cost and to reduce the cost, isn't it? Management accounting, on the other hand, see, this marginal costing is more towards management accounting. It's not basically pure costing. So for BCom students, if cost accounting and management accounting are two separate chapters, two separate topics for you, two separate subjects for you, then this you will study in management accounting. Okay, so when you are thinking of or when you are speaking about management accounting, what is the purpose? The purpose is that the system should develop data or information in such a manner which enables the manager to make effective and correct decisions. Correct? Is this what we have discussed? So the purpose of management accounting is to handle management information systems properly. This is the purpose, and the objective is to enable the managers to make effective decisions. So how do we make decisions in real life? How this marginal costing is connected to that? What are the relevant elements to be considered? What are the irrelevant elements that are not to be considered for decision making? All these things we'll discuss in this marginal costing. As I told you earlier, first we'll write some notes. After that, I'll give you some real life case studies and I'll ask you, in this situation, if you are the businessman, what will you do? We'll make certain decisions. From there, I will try to link to marginal costing, and finally we'll go to absorption costing. Okay, so put the heading marginal costing. Under that, point number 1, marginal cost. Point number 1, write down marginal cost. Under that, write down notes. The term marginal cost is a concept from economics. The term marginal cost is a concept from economics. Which means, or which refers to the cost of production which refers to the cost of production, which refers to the cost of production to produce one additional unit. To produce one additional unit. To produce one additional unit. Or it is the increase in cost of production, or it is the increase in cost of production, increase in cost of production when increase in cost of production when the production quantity is increased by 1 unit. When the production quantity is increased by, when the production quantity is increased by 1 unit. When the production quantity is increased by 1 unit. Next para. Marginal means additional. In the next para, write down marginal means additional. Therefore, marginal cost. Therefore, marginal cost is the additional cost marginal cost is the additional cost to produce one extra unit. To produce one extra unit. Okay. Under that, put the heading, consider the following example. Consider the following example. The cost sheet of an entity, the cost sheet of an entity is as follows. The cost sheet of an entity is as follows. Okay, write down it like this. Particulars, cost per unit, total cost for 1 lakh units. Okay, copy this data in your notes. Copy this data in your notes. Okay, now look here. What is this column? To produce 1 lakh 1 units. So this is my present situation. Okay, this is my present situation. This is my proposed scenario. This is my proposed scenario. So I want to produce one extra unit. Now you tell me, do I need to incur extra materials? So will I end up incurring more materials if I want to produce one more unit? In the chat box, tell me yes or no. If I'm producing one more unit, don't you think I need to incur more materials? Obviously, yes. Without incurring extra materials, how will you produce one extra unit? So 8 rupees is the cost you have to incur. Otherwise, you cannot produce, no? Simple. In household, imagine you are making, say, for example, in your kitchen, you are making idli. Without putting additional material, how can you produce one extra idli? Sir, I will reduce the size and 1 lakh units I'll apportion to, I'll adjust to 1 lakh one. No, that you can do in kitchen. In production you cannot do, because for production specifications will be there. Measurements will be there, no? So you cannot adjust like that, because someone is telling in the chat box, no, I will adjust materials, I am telling this. You cannot. 8 rupees is to be incurred. And do I need to incur additional labor cost to produce one extra unit? Will I end up incurring extra cost? Say yes or no. The answer is yes. I will incur extra cost, because in costing, direct labor is treated as variable cost. When you are producing, see, salaries is a fixed cost. There is a difference between production wages and salaries. When we speak about direct labor, these are the laborer who are working on the production. It is always variable. Direct labor cost is always directly attributable to production. It is a direct cost and it is variable cost. That is the rule. Salaries are fixed cost. Wages are not fixed cost. Wages are per piece only we will calculate. You understand? So to produce one extra unit, we have to incur extra 5 rupees of labor. Otherwise, laborer will not produce that. That's all. So what is the rule? There is a presumption. It is a thumb rule that direct labor is always variable cost. Then variable overheads. Variable overheads proportionately grow with production. No? So if you are manufacturing one extra unit, do you need to incur this extra variable overhead? So will you end up spending 4 more rupees? Ramya, tell me. Yes, obviously. 4. Okay, this fixed overheads, say 10 lakh rupees. Imagine it is like, salaries of permanent staff, rent of the factory. Okay, this kind of fixed costs. So when you are producing one extra unit from 1 lakh units to 1 lakh 1 unit, will your fixed cost increase? No. So can I put 0 here? Now you tell me, what is the incremental cost? This is my incremental cost. 17. So can I say now that to produce 1 unit extra, I have to spend 17 rupees more cost of production? That is called marginal cost. It is nothing but your variable cost. Looking here also, you can say, Pawan sir, already we have calculated in the first column, variable cost is 17. Can I say marginal cost is 17? The answer is yes. Marginal costing is nothing but variable cost. Okay, write down this example. Copy this in your notes. Copy in your notes, and under that write down. The present level of activity is 1 lakh units. The present level of activity is 1 lakh units. The present level of activity is 1 lakh units. To produce one extra unit, the additional cost to be incurred is rupees 17. The additional cost to be incurred is The additional cost to be incurred is rupees 17. The additional cost to be incurred is rupees 17. This is called marginal cost. This is called marginal cost. Full stop. This is nothing but variable cost per unit. This is nothing but variable cost per unit. This is nothing but variable cost per unit. Okay, under that write down one case study. One case study. Not in our study materials. One extra, example I am giving you so that you can understand what is marginal costing in a better way. Case study. X Limited is manufacturer of branded pens. X Limited is a manufacturer of branded pens. They received one bulk order from a customer Y Limited. They received one bulk order from a customer Y Limited for 1 crore pens at an agreed rate of rupees 100 per pen. They received one bulk order from a customer Y Limited for 1 crore pens at an agreed rate of 100 rupees per pen. X Limited has prepared the following job cost sheet before executing the order. Particulars per unit, total for 100, total for 1 crore units. Direct materials, direct labor, direct expenses, variable production overheads, depreciation, factory rent, salaries, total cost, profit, sales. So here sales is 100 rupees. Sales is 100 crores. So this is in crores, okay? Total for 1 crore units. This is rupees in crores. Second column, this is rupees in crores. Or do one thing, this change it to 250. Otherwise, all the numbers will be same. Change it to 250. You will not understand the difference. So change it to 250. 250 per pen. Sales 250. So here, 1 crore into 250 will become 250 only, no? So we shouldn't change the selling price. We should change the quantity. So chalo, chhod do, it's okay, no problem. So we'll keep 100 only, not an issue. Direct materials, say for example 30 rupees per unit, labor 10 rupees per unit, direct expenses 5, variable production overheads 5. Okay, depreciation will take numeric example. Now we are creating the problem, so it takes little time. Don't worry about it. 30, 40, 50. So I need a profit of 20. Then imagine salaries if it is 5 crores, factory rent if it is 20 crores. This is depreciation another 5. Okay, 5 crores. So you're apportioning these fixed costs. So total it is 5 crores. So per unit it is 5. Per unit it is 20. Per unit it is 5. Okay. Total cost is 80 and this is this plus this. Okay. So this is this element into 1 crore. So this is the cost sheet. So first copy this cost sheet in your notes. Copy this cost sheet, and once you are done copying, in the chat box let me know done. Then I'll continue with the case study. Are you done copying this? Can we continue? Okay. Now the point is, see, you are X Limited. Some Y Limited came to you and said, Anna, I want 1 crore pens. So they agreed on some rate and you started one job cost sheet. You have prepared one cost sheet before production and then you started producing. Now the drama is, before the goods are delivered, Y Limited announced bankruptcy. Before the goods are delivered, Y Limited announced bankruptcy. Now rather you are happy now after delivery of goods. If they become bankrupt, you will not get goods, you will not get money also. Official liquidator will be there for the company. That is a headache. Now you are like, thank God I have not supplied goods to him and the customer has become bankrupt. Now you tried X Limited identified another buyer for the above finished goods. Z Limited expressed their interest to buy the whole quantity of pens at rupees 70 crores. At rupees 70 crores. The production in charge contended that the selling price is 70 crores, which is lower than the total cost, which is 80 crores. This deal gives a loss of rupees 10 crores and hence goods should not be sold to Z Limited. Express your view on this. This is the question. Express your view on this. Ramya, switch on your mic.
Yes, sir.
Ramya, you understand the situation?
Yes, sir.
So you produced goods for some of your customer and the customer turned bankrupt. Now you have huge pile of finished goods in your hand. That is a dead stock. If you do not clear it, your money is blocked. So many crores of rupees you have already invested. So you want someone to come and buy this. You are desperate to sell it off. So you have identified one guy, but that guy looking at the situation, maybe he is exploiting, we don't know. The new buyer is saying, no, 100 crores I will not pay, I will pay only 70 crores. But your total cost, if you look at your total cost, your cost itself is 80 rupees per pen, and your cost itself is 80 crores for all the pens put together. But this guy is ready to give only 70 crores to you. If you are the business women, will you sell this at 70 crores?
Yes, sir.
Why? You'll incur loss, no?
అమ్మకపోతే మొత్తం పోతుంది కదా సార్.
So you mean to say if you do not sell, the whole money is gone?
Yes, sir.
So you tell me one thing, when you sell, this goods at 70 crores, if you are selling goods at 70 crores, are you incurring loss?
Yes, sir.
Actually, if you are a businessman, you should have a separate dimension. The variable cost of production is this much only. This is my actual cost. So whether I produce these pens or no, whether I execute this order or no, this depreciation, factory rent, salaries are fixed costs which anyway I have to incur. Even if this bunch of production is not there also, even if I am not producing this 1 crore pens also, my factory rent for other units to be produced during the year, that anyway I will incur, no? So marginal costing technique says, fixed costs are irrelevant for decision making. Fixed costs are not to be included in the value of inventory. Decisions are to be made based on variable cost only, but not based on total cost. This is marginal costing. Now imagine you incurred, see, before this example, before this case study, I have given you some notes. In the notes I told you marginal cost, marginal means additional, marginal cost is additional cost. So to produce additional units, what is the amount you will incur? Now you tell me here, if you are producing 1 crore 1 unit, here you are producing 1 crore units, correct? For producing 1 crore units, this is your cost structure. Now imagine you are producing 1 crore 1 unit. Will you incur another 30 rupees here? Yes. Will you incur another 10 rupees here? Yes. Will you incur another 5 rupees here? Yes. Will you incur another 5 rupees here? Yes. Will you incur this total 50 rupees? The answer is yes. Will you incur depreciation? The answer is no. Will you incur factory rent? The answer is no. Will you incur salaries? The answer is no. So when the answer is no, why are you considering it? So marginal costing says, dear business women, your cost to produce this 1 crore pens is only 50. If you are selling it at 70, be happy, you are getting 20 crore rupees profit. You are getting 20 crore rupees profit. Now some students, they are like, yeah, this technique makes sense. Some other students will say, but Pawan sir, at the end of the day, I am the one who is paying all these things. Even they are to be recovered. The answer is yes, they are to be recovered. We are not saying we will not recover fixed costs. We are saying for decision making, we will not consider fixed costs. So here the dimension, what is the point of view? What is the thought process? The thought process is costs are classified into two. They are A, inventoriable costs. That means these are the costs that are to be included in the cost of inventory. These are known as product cost. B, period cost. These are the costs that are incurred for a particular period, irrespective of production. These are not to be included in the cost of inventory. these are to be charged to P&L account, costing P&L account. So there are two types of costs. What are they? One is inventoriable cost. This is chargeable to a product. So this can be included in cost of a product. Inventoriable cost can be included in cost of a product. For example, direct material, it is inventoriable cost, chargeable cost. Direct labor, inventoriable cost, include. Direct expenses, include. Variable overheads, include. Fixed cost, no. No, fixed cost is not incurred to produce this particular pen. Even if you do not produce this order also, your fixed cost remains same because it is a period cost. It is a cost incurred for a particular period. That is the reason depreciation per annum, salaries per month, rent per month, all these are incurred for a period. So continuing the same logic, respecting the same logic, since it is incurred for a period, it is not incurred for a product. So is your factory rent paid for one product? No, it is paid for month. So when you are entering into contract, the lease agreement is written. The lease agreement is written that per month you will pay 10 lakh rupees of rent. Per month you will pay. When you are taking an employee on a fixed cost basis, you are writing a contract. Per month I will pay you 1 lakh rupees. Depreciation is of two types. Depreciation that happens because of using a machine, depreciation that happens because of affliction of time. So time-based depreciation will be there, no? 10% per annum depreciation, 10% per annum. That is fixed cost. That is fixed cost. In machine operating expenses also you will calculate depreciation, and you calculate depreciation based on the number of hours method. Then depreciation is a variable cost. So in costing we discuss two types of depreciation. In accounts we discuss only one type of depreciation. In accounts, whenever you have come across depreciation in accounts, what is the depreciation? Per annum 10% on straight line method, 25% on WDV. So that is charged based on time. That is the reason sometimes, if there is a pro rata period, for example, if there is only 4 months, after 4 months you sold this machine, you will calculate proportionately for full year. If it is this much, take WDV into 10 divided by 100 into 4 months divided by 12 months. What is the meaning of it? That means you are charging it for a period. So depreciation by affliction of time, due to affliction of time, whatever you are calculating, that is always a fixed cost. By usage, if you are calculating per unit depreciation 2 rupees, per machine hour depreciation 1 rupee 50 paise, these are variables that we will discuss again in overheads topic, that we don't need to discuss in marginal costing. So in marginal costing, the summary, try to understand the whole pie. Just close your eyes and try to understand it like this. Oh, so the total cost to produce one pen here, is 80 rupees. The total cost to produce one pen is 80 rupees. But in that 80 rupees, product costs are 50 rupees. Period costs are 30 rupees. So these period costs are irrelevant for decision making. Decisions are to be made based on the product cost. This period cost will go to your costing P&L account. So what is the conclusion here? Again, I am repeating the same thing. Costs are broadly classified into two. One is inventoriable costs, which are chargeable expenses to a particular product. For a particular product, you can include this in their inventory cost. Okay, and the other set of cost is period cost. The other category is period cost. That means these are incurred for a particular period, irrespective of whether you are producing units or no. This is in the nature of fixed cost. Period costs are nothing but fixed costs. Inventoriable costs are normally variable costs. So period costs you will charge to costing P&L. Okay, so analysis of the above case study. Above case study from the point of view of marginal costing. From the point of view of marginal costing. So the total production cost per unit is 80. In that, inventoriable or variable cost is 50. fixed cost total is 50 crores. Fixed cost total is 50 crores. So per unit fixed cost calculated is 30. So this fixed cost total is 50 crores, which is worked out per unit by calculating fixed cost per unit is equal to total fixed cost divided by production. Like that you calculated that 30. This 30 is irrelevant. So according to marginal costing, decisions are to be made based on rupees 50 cost only, not based on rupees 80. Therefore, marginal costing says if you sell your finished goods to Z Limited at 70 crores, you are still earning a contribution of rupees 20 crores, which is sales 70 minus variable cost 50 is equal to contribution 20. So this is what marginal costing says, and marginal costing says be happy, happily sell it, don't cry. Now what happens when you prepare P&L? When you prepare P&L, okay, when you prepare P&L. So this is not what actually we are doing, but for your understanding I am telling it like this, okay? For your understanding I am telling it like this. So if you are preparing costing P&L, by contribution from product A 20 crores, by contribution from product B 10 crores, by contribution from product C 20 crores, by contribution from product D 10 crores, by contribution from product E 40 crores, by contribution from product F. So like that all the products will contribute amounts, and here to fixed costs. Then you will calculate net profit to net profit. That means you are considering fixed costs also, but not at product level. You are considering fixed cost to calculate profit, but not at product level. At product level, only variable cost is relevant. At entity level or business unit level, fixed costs are relevant. So when you are thinking of selling that particular pen to Z Limited, don't think of fixed costs. That fixed cost will be charged to P&L. P&L for the year will charge the whole fixed cost. Then we'll calculate profit. That is the reason even yesterday when we have prepared budgets also. Do you remember yesterday we have prepared budgets product A, product B, product C. We have prepared budget for product A, product B, product C. You remember? So what did we do? Do you remember what did we do? So this is product A, product B, product C, total. Here you have taken sales, here you have taken less variable cost, here you said it is contribution, total contribution of ABC put together you have written, then minus fixed cost you have done here 1 lakh rupees, 80,000 rupees. You remember yesterday only we have done this. Fixed cost 1 lakh rupees, other fixed cost 80,000. You have subtracted it from the total column. You did not subtract it from products. Why? Because it is period cost. It is not product cost. That is the reason you are not putting it in the product. Pragna, you remember this is what we have done yesterday? Yesterday there is a problem. The company at present in 2019 they are producing A and B. Because the sales are falling in the 2020, in the new year, they have introduced product C. So we calculated 1,15,000 is the present profit, 1,25,000 is the profit in the future. Then we have given the comment, it is better to introduce product C because the net benefit, the profits are increasing by 10,000. You remember the whole story. In that question, what we have done, we have taken sales, we have taken variable cost, we have taken contribution, product wise, but after that fixed cost we did not put under products. Correct? Fixed cost we have put in total column. Isn't it? Why? Because they are period costs. In total, you'll incur that. You'll not incur that for product A, no. Whether you manufacture product A in that factory, product B in that factory, or product C in that factory, it will be same. So it is something like this. Say for example, there is a sweet house like Sri Krishna, a very reputed sweet house, Sri Krishna Sweets. So this Sri Krishna Sweets, imagine they have one kitchen. Sri Krishna Sweets, they have one kitchen. Big kitchen, say for example, located in Coimbatore. Sri Krishna Sweets, they have a big, huge manufacturing infrastructure is there. They have set up a very big kitchen, centralized kitchen. Okay, this is the production unit. Okay, here you can manufacture, you can prepare laddu, you can prepare Mysore pak, you can prepare any kind of fruit, sweet, you can prepare any kind of snack. Okay, now you got a catering contract. So one gentleman came to you, you are the owner of this Sri Krishna Sweets, and you have this unit where your operating cost is 10 crores. 10 crores you incur per annum. The 10 crores could be the machinery depreciation, that could be the fixed cost like rents, that could be any other type of fixed costs, salaries. So basically this particular unit in Coimbatore, you have to spend 10 crores per annum to run this. Now one gentleman came and said that, sir, my daughter is getting married, we want you to supply sweets, we want 100 kg laddu. We want, just for example, I'm telling you, we want 100 kg laddu. Do you think in this order, the businessman will consider this 10 crore rupees of cost? To execute this 100 crores order, do you think the businessman considers this 10 crores cost? The answer is no. You should not. He cannot. So like this, so many contracts will come. So many. Daily you are doing hundreds of contracts. In a year you will do thousands of contracts. All the contracts put together will recover this 10 crores of fixed cost, but you cannot apportion. If I am giving this 100 crores to Ramya's 100 kg sweets to Ramya's father, how much of the proportional 10 crore fixed cost to be included in this laddu quotation? You are an idiot if you are doing like that. You cannot think of what is the proportional amount of the 10 crores fixed cost per annum that is to be included in this particular contract. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. So you have to prepare a cost sheet like this. Materials, what are all the materials I use? Materials, basin I use, dry fruits I use. Okay, then you have to list down ghee I use. So how much of quantity of what material I use? Okay, this material I use, this material, this quantity, this rate. So labor as a variable cost. If you are paying some salaries in that particular thing, you will not consider that. Variable labor cost, whatever labor cost you are incurring for producing this particular 100 kg sweets, whoever is making, their salaries can be included. Okay, sir, watchman is there, canteen is there, then some cleaning section is there, some housekeeping people are there. Shall I include their salaries? No, that is a fixed cost. Those who are making this 100 kg of sweets, their wages can be included. Then variable expenses like delivery cost. So I have to deliver this 100 kg sweets now. So I have to hire one auto rickshaw. So that auto rickshaw fellow will bring that sweets from my location to your location. Like for example, these can be included because that is a variable cost that I am exclusively incurring for your 100 kg of sweets. Simple. If I am the businessman, if I am producing 100 kg sweets to be delivered to a customer, what are all the costs I have to incur extra additionally now to produce this 100 kgs? That is marginal cost. even if this contract is not performed also, my depreciation on the factory building will be same, my factory rents will be same, my salaries to unproductive non-productive staff will be there. No, not unproductive, like those who are not involved in production. Unproductive is a different thing in general English. What I mean to say is those who are engaged in production, that becomes direct labor. Those who are not involved in production, that supporting staff or other staff are there, no supervisory staff and all, that becomes overhead. That is not a direct cost. That overhead will be fixed. That is the reason even yesterday when you read the problem, they clearly mentioned foreman salary 400 per month. Supervisor salary 500 per month. You have calculated 500 into 12, 6,000. 400 into 12, 4,800. Where did you put it? You have put it under overheads. You have put it under overheads. Above that they have given direct labor 5 rupees. You have put that in prime cost. That is the difference. So here you will include labor cost which you are incurring for this 100 kgs of laddu. If some salaries, fixed salaries are paid, that you will not include here. So this is how the business is done. In reality, everybody does business like this only. So simply because you are incurring 10 crore rupees of fixed cost, you cannot ask each and every customer to pay this 10 crores or proportion of 10 crores. Okay, that is stupidity. So Pawan sir, I will get 40% margin from this order. Very good. Pawan sir, I will get 50% margin from my next order. Pawan sir, I will get 10% margin from my next order. From product A, I get 10%. From product B, I get 12%. All these are contributions. So these contributions put together, all the products contribution put together will be able to recover fixed cost. This is the concept. This is the concept. So try to understand it like this. There is one product A, product B, product C, product D. Selling price is there, less variable cost is there. This is contribution X rupees, Y rupees, A rupees, B rupees. So all this X plus Y plus A plus B is called total contribution. This total contribution must cover fixed cost. Product A cannot cover fixed cost. Product B cannot cover fixed cost. Product C cannot cover fixed cost. Product D cannot cover fixed cost. All the contributions from the products put together must be able to recover fixed cost and they must be able to give you profit. This is marginal costing. That's all. You understand the concept? So that is the reason I said when you are selling, these pens at 70 crores to Z Limited, feel happy. You are still getting profit. Pawan sir, what about this fixed cost? This 30 crore rupees of fixed cost I have incurred. Don't worry, that will be recovered at the end of the month. Due to so many orders, you might not be able to recover that with one particular order. Now you understand? You understand the concept of marginal costing? Hello, please respond. Do you understand the concept of marginal costing? Very good. Continue notes. Put the heading marginal costing. Marginal costing. Under that, write down marginal costing is a costing system. Marginal costing is a costing system where marginal costing is a costing system where inventories are valued at variable cost. Where inventories are valued at variable cost only. Marginal costing is a system where inventories are valued at variable cost only. It does not take consideration of fixed costs. It does not take consideration of fixed costs. Next side heading, absorption costing. Absorption costing. Absorption costing. Under that, write down. This is another method of costing. This is another method of costing. Or you can write system of costing also. This is another system of costing. It is a system. In ICI study material, they use the word method. You can use method also. But absorption costing is a system. It is a system of costing by which all direct costs and applicable overheads are charged to products or are charged to products or included in cost of production Next para. Absorbed cost includes production cost as well as administrative cost. Production cost as well as administrative cost. Okay, now all of you copy all these things in your notes. Just copy all these things. I know that you have textbook in your hand, but still I want you to write all these things in your notes. Already you have written 3 points: 1 marginal cost, 2 marginal costing, 3 absorption costing, 4 contribution, 5 CVP analysis, 6 contribution to sales ratio or PV ratio, 7 BEP, 8 MOS. I want you to write all these things. Then I'll explain point by point. We'll solve some problems also. Okay, copy all these points in your notes and tell me in the chat box that you are done. Then I'll continue. So guys, are you done? So have you copied this? Now put the heading income statement as per marginal costing technique. Income statement as per marginal costing. Under that, particulars, rupees. Under that, write down sales XXX less variable cost XXX is called contribution XXX less fixed cost. This is called profit. Sales less variable cost, that gives you contribution. From that, subtract fixed cost, that gives you profit. Okay, in the next line, write down from the above, we can draw the marginal cost equation like this. Marginal cost equation. What is marginal cost equation? Put the heading marginal cost equation. S minus V is equal to C. S minus V is equal to C. Sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution. Which is equal to F plus P. Which is equal to F plus P. So sales minus variable cost is contribution. Fixed cost plus profit also is contribution only now. So you can write it like this: sales minus variable cost minus contribution, is equal to contribution. Then contribution minus fixed cost is equal to profit. This two merged is the above one. So this equation merges both the equations. Sales minus variable cost is contribution. Contribution minus fixed cost is equal to profit. From this reverse working, can I say contribution is equal to fixed cost plus profit? I am sending F from left hand side to right hand side. That's all. So you understand S minus V is equal to C, which is equal to F plus P. Please let me know in the chat box, do you understand the equation S minus V is equal to C, which is equal to F plus P? Yes, very good. Under that, write down formulae. Some formulas will write, okay? Some formulas will write. Under that, 1. Under formulas, 1. PV ratio is equal to, can someone tell me what is the formula for PV ratio? You might have studied this already in so many places, including FM, in financial management also you might have seen PV ratio. PV ratio, what is the formula, ma? Can someone tell me in the chat box? Very good. Contribution by sales into 100. Correct. Contribution by sales into 100. PV ratio is equal to contribution by sales into 100. Okay. Then write down 2. Sales into sales minus variable cost divided by sales is equal to fixed cost plus profit. Same equation. So S and S will get cancelled. Then left side it is S minus V, sales minus variable cost, that is contribution, which is equal to F plus P. That is what equation we have discussed already. So we'll be using different shape of the same formula in different problems based on the data given. This is 2. 3. Sales into PV ratio. Can you tell me what is sales into PV ratio? Is equal to. Can someone tell me what is sales into PV ratio? Contribution. Correct. Same we are using from first formula. Sales into PV ratio is equal to contribution. Sales into PV ratio is equal to contribution. Sales into PV ratio is equal to contribution. Okay, now you tell me S minus V by S into 100 is equal to what? S minus V divided by S into 100 is what? Contribution by sales into 100, again PV ratio. Yet another way of calculating. There are so many ways to calculate anything in marginal costing. Okay, you call it how to calculate fixed cost, you call it how to calculate variable cost, how to calculate PV ratio. There are so many formulae. Okay, next formula. PV ratio is equal to change in contribution divided by change in sales into 100. change in contribution by change in sales. Next one, 6, same PV ratio, change in profit by change in sales into 100. This is also PV ratio. Change in profit by change in PV ratio. Change in profit by change in sales into 100 is PV ratio. Next, write down, I think 7. Break even point can be expressed either in terms of A, sales quantity, B, or in terms of sales revenue. Break-even point can be expressed either in terms of sales quantity or in terms of sales revenue. Break-even point quantity is equal to break-even point quantity is equal to fixed cost by contribution per unit. Break-even point quantity is equal to fixed cost by contribution per unit. Then write down break-even point sales revenue is equal to fixed cost by PV ratio. Fixed cost by PV ratio. Therefore, one more formula for PV ratio. PV ratio is equal to, can I say PV ratio is equal to break-even point 1 by PV ratio is, send this that side, fixed cost by break-even point sales. Can I say from this formula, can I say PV ratio is equal to, send PV ratio that side, send break-even point this side. So PV ratio is equal to fixed cost by break-even point sales. Okay, in the next point write down, I think some 10th formula, something like that. Actual sales over and above break-even sales. Actual sales over and above break-even sales is known as, okay, can anyone tell this? Actual sales over and above break-even sales is known as what? Very good, correct. Margin of safety, superb. Margin of safety. Actual sales over and above break-even sales is known as margin of safety. You call it MS or you call it MOS. So if you take this as total sales, so this is your actual sales. In this is break-even point, this is margin of safety. What is the logic in this? You know, this recovers your fixed cost. This recovers your fixed cost. This gives you profit. So this is total actual sales. That gives actual profit. Okay, so this will recover your fixed cost. This gives you profit. Okay, next write down. Margin of safety can be calculated A. Margin of safety can be calculated A in terms of sales quantity. Then formula is margin of safety is equal to profit by contribution per unit. B. Sales revenue. Then margin of safety is equal to profit by PV ratio. Profit by PV ratio. So look here, the concept is simple. This is sales quantity, this is sales revenue, this is break even point, this is margin of safety, this is total sales. So what is total sales? Basically total sales is nothing but break even point sales plus margin of safety, no? So if you want sales quantity, see, look here, remember like this, break even point is driven by fixed cost, margin of safety is driven by profit, sales quantity is driven by contribution per unit, sales revenue is driven by PV ratio. So when you observe this, the formulas will become simple. Break even point quantity is, this is driving factor fixed cost numerator, this is driving factor denominator CPU. So here the formula is fixed cost by contribution per unit. Here you are calculating break even point, so fixed cost is relevant, divided by, you want it to be in sales revenue, so denominator will be PV ratio. Same thing with margin of safety. Here profit divided by contribution per unit, here profit divided by PV ratio. Now total sales is, can I say, this must be break even point plus margin of safety. Total sales is break even point plus margin of safety. So basically it is fixed cost plus profit, no? Therefore the formula here will be fixed cost plus profit whole divided by CPU, or fixed cost plus profit whole divided by PV ratio. So these are the formulae. So simple way to remember, break even point is driven by fixed cost. It has direct relationship. Break even point has direct relationship with fixed cost. Sales quantity, if you want to determine quantity, denominator should be cost contribution per unit, then only you will get number of units. If you want revenue, it should be ratio, PV ratio. So break even point in terms of units is fixed cost by CPU, break even point in terms of revenue is fixed cost by PV ratio, margin of safety in terms of quantity is profit by CPU, margin of safety in terms of revenue is profit by PV ratio, sales at a desired level, this is known as sales at a desired profit level, sales at desired profit level is equal to fixed cost plus profit divided by contribution per unit, or PV ratio, as the case may be. You can do fixed cost per unit or you can do PV ratio. Do you remember yesterday in one problem we have solved this? Like they have given estimated profit is 12 lakhs, fixed cost is 7 lakhs 57,000 odd something. Then we have added both divided by 932 rupees or something. We have taken contribution. Do you remember? Sales at desired profit. This is what we have done. Okay, so have you copied all this formula? Now you tell me, I'll write something on the board. You tell me what it is. Next formula, you can continue numbering 14, 15, whatever it is, you can continue. Break even sales plus margin of safety into PV ratio is equal to what? You tell me. Contribution. Correct. Next formula. Break even sales into PV ratio plus margin of safety into PV ratio is equal to what? Same thing, no? There PV or PV ratio you have taken common. Here you are splitting it. Again you will get contribution only. Okay, now you tell me margin of safety into PV ratio is equal to what? Margin of safety into PV ratio. Hello, I need answer. Profit, correct. Okay, actual sales minus break-even sales is equal to what? Actual sales minus break-even sales. Margin of safety. Actual sales minus margin of safety is equal to what? Break-even sales. So you will get so many formulae, but basically everything is derived from that marginal costing equation is there, no? Sales minus variable cost is equal to contribution, which is equal to fixed cost plus profit. You are playing around with that, and break even point and margin of safety are two elements of actual sales. That's all. So we are done with formulae. Just read the formulae once again. Shall we take a small break? We'll come back and then we'll start solving some basic problems, small problems we'll see. So any doubts so far, ma? Shall we take a small break?